love.
Excellent.
And after that 9 years of football-based relationship, if you like, primarily, we've gone on to have another 9+.
Oh, you're still
which
going,
is just
ongoing?
Yeah,
Good.
we're incredible friends, and yeah, we speak probably once a week, maybe twice. And whilst his life is heading off on another path as he explores his wine, and that's his passion, and he's often up at his winery, and mine's more city-based, so we don't get to spend as much time together. That connection's still very much there. So it's one of those incredible friendships that, you know, whether it's 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, we're always still going to have that amazing bond.
Did he find you or you found him?
He found me. He found me. He offered me that opportunity to work with him at the 1993 Grand Final. So in the 1993 Grand Final.
Who won that Grand Final, by the way?
That was Essendon. That's a cheap shot there, Imran. Very cheap.
Sorry, continue.
You're more than welcome to have your time in the sun.
That's right, give me that moment.
So he offered me the chance at that Grand Final to work with him, and I was unsure as to whether I should do it or not, but a little bit of discussion and a little bit of thought within myself saw me make a phone call and take him up on that offer. The amazing thing is I've seen him offer exactly the same, proposal to other young men in that football space, and they've declined it. And to this day, I just don't know why. Other people have taken it up, mind you.
Yeah.
But if there were 10, let's just say as a straw poll total, maybe only 3 have taken it up. So there's another 7 guys out there, better get my fingers right, another 7 guys out there who have walked away from, honestly, one of the opportunities of a lifetime. Because you just don't know when somebody of that nature, and I'm not talking about his football background, the fact that he was a champion athlete and so forth, I'm talking about nature as in wanting to give you something for nothing in return. This is a one-way deal, essentially. Of course, he benefits. He ends up having someone say that they love him and he's got a great friend out of it, etc., etc. But to have someone like that offer you something for free that's so genuine and you say no, I think that reflects very poorly on your ability to lead yourself, because leadership, again, is about finding ways to incorporate other people into your space and or the bigger purpose, whatever it happens to be, whether you're part of a team, you're part of a corporate space, part of a school group, and say, you know what, you getting involved here is going to make me, is going to make us better. So I guess some people are just quite isolated in their thinking and also their want to maybe try and do it all themselves. I think it's very important to note that very few things that you achieve in life that have any real credibility are done on your own.
They do say the best things in life are free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And on this occasion, absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah, an incredible man.
In 1999, you co-founded White Lion, which is a charity group that assists young people.
Correct.
What type of work specifically do they help young people with?
Well, Imran mainly works with young people in the juvenile justice system. So young people have been incarcerated and have been, caught up in a cycle of disconnect, if you will. There's all sorts of ways in which we could describe it, but essentially these young people, men and women, ranging from, say, 12, through to 22, there's a bit of a breadth there, have had some really, really trying circumstances in their life. Some of them brought upon themselves, as I said, other based on historical, environmental type factors. So White Lion was formed as a not-for-profit that focused on getting these young people job opportunities, mentoring opportunities, and now you can see where the ALEC aspect fits into that in my thinking, and also role modelling opportunities. So as White Lion's progressed over time, it's taken on a number of different other not-for-profits to sort of buoy itself and also incorporate some of their skills, because obviously this particular landscape that we live in Australia is a little bit treacherous for not-for-profit organisations, a little bit treacherous for community groups on both sides of the ledger. So it's not all just about the country itself not giving enough to community groups. Often community groups aren't doing enough with the money that they're given to. So the money's not always hitting the right mark. But White Lion, I'd like to think, has always worked within a framework that saw the young people that it's primarily focused on benefit from the support that it's given, financially and or otherwise. And we're now into 2016, and goodness me, the organisation will be 20 years old very, very soon. So,
you mentioned before that some of the charity groups don't utilise the money well. Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know that not-for-profit enterprise is necessarily the best model that we need to work with anyway. I would like to think that Australia could have a much more philanthropic and giving angle to its business than it does currently. So White Lion, let's just hypothetically say that White Lion's budget is $20 million a year. That money begged for, borrowed from, I should say, or stolen, you know, you really got to work hard for that money. And I don't really want to take $10 from a little old lady down the street who basically thrusts it at me and says, I want you to put this towards your charity. And that happens. It happens regularly. I don't want to do that. So if I had my time all over again, Imran, in terms of understanding what leadership is and how I could really make a difference in the community, I would like to be able to say that Glenn Manton is making $20 million a year. The money is going directly to me. Then, as everyone takes a bit of a gasp at home, then I could do a lot more with that money than having to try and beat a system. So one of the things that Alec taught me many, many years ago is you can't beat systems. Systems have been around for as long as the sun. So trying to beat a system, go head to head with a system is not the way it's going to work, but to try and work around the system. And so for me, getting involved in that not-for-profit section, in hindsight, with a little bit of, I guess, clarity, I now know I would have been better off building my own business, having $20 million in my own pocket, and then being able to target all sorts of different angles in the community, because I don't need $20 million a year, clearly. So what could I do with 15 million to here, another 4 million here, another 500,000 here, another 250,000 here? I could do a lot more for the community with a businessman's hat on, if you like, but with a philanthropic community heart or soul. So I would encourage people watching this particular interview, yourself included, to think about how can you become genuinely wealthy? Not just in your heart and your head, but in your pocket as well, because it's the case then of what do you do with that money? How are you able to affect change in the community? And I think that's a wonderful thing. And there are many people in this country and beyond who, for whatever reason, I think they're extraordinary people, they take a percentage of their wage and put it back into the community. I think that's tremendous. It could be somebody making $80,000 a year and they might donate 10%. I think that's incredible. But we shouldn't rely on those people. We've got some outstanding big business here and individuals who could be giving a lot more, and I'd like to see that happen.
Going on from that actually, because from my personal experience, and statistics show that I think only 1 in 4 Australians donate. And I'm sure you know this, I'm from like a third world country, Bangladesh, and it might not be the best experience going there, but I realize how much luckier off I am. You compare life there to compare life here.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask, how would you try and encourage more people to volunteer? Because I don't think enough people do it. Enough people don't know much about the world out there. We're very lucky here.
Yeah, sure. Look, I think one of the things that is really important to note is it doesn't always have to be something fiscally driven. It's not always about how much money we can put across. It's about our time and how we can invest our time, and also our integrity. Because I can spend half an hour with you here having a chat, disappear, and it meant nothing to me.
Yeah, sure.
Or I can sit here with you and really share and really talk and invest time in you and this production, which I'd like to think I'm doing. So if you're looking to travel to Bangladesh and help in terms of the community, that's fantastic, but do it with integrity. Really invest some time, really invest some energy into that space. If you're wanting to do it in your own backyard, and there's a lot of help that's necessary here just in Melbourne, well then again, do it with integrity, do it with a passion, do it with some sort of genuine purpose to try and make a difference. Because time is that unbelievable commodity that is incredibly valuable. So yes, it would be lovely to think that 1 in 4 could become, basically a 3 in 4 people donating. But I would like to see 4 in 4 people. So it's basically everybody saying, you know what, I do live in a privileged country, and we do. Oh, an incredible country Australia is. But what can I give back? And it doesn't have to be big. It could just be something very, very small. I actually happen to live next to a rather elderly lady, and so many people in the little enclave that I live in spend time supporting her. Oh, wonderful woman.
Yeah.
And I just always amazed by the different people who are knocking on her door, ask if she's okay, what can they do, can they bring her bins in, this sort of stuff. So it doesn't have to be something dramatic. I just like to think that those little things, almost domino, they just knock people down. Wow, this is great. I've seen Imran's done something for me. I want to do something for her. She'll do something for him, and it just flows on. I think that's a really important way of leading in that space.
You also do some work for Red Dust.
Red Dust Role Models. Yeah, so in Indigenous Australia.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, so it's an organisation that they get role models to go to Indigenous communities and help them educate.
Correct.
How is that progressing?
Look, to be honest with you, I haven't done any road trips for a little while because I've just been caught up with some other projects and so forth. But the Indigenous community in Australia is a very curious one. Obviously, we have not supported that community in a way in which we can be genuinely proud. We've pushed them to the side, and we've caused them to have to really try and fight back in some dramatic ways. So I think any time that we can build genuine relationships in that space is very, very important. I was saying to you off camera, I've spent time in India working in communities there, no different in many respects to working in communities here in Australia with Aboriginal Australians, in the sense that I basically get off the bus or get out of the car or get off the train or get off the plane, and from that moment until the time that I leave, I can't stop laughing because I'm around some really gregarious, engaging human beings. I don't stop learning, so learning more about the people that I'm with, but also about myself. And I develop stories that I can share and take back and hopefully encourage other people to get involved in those sorts of spaces. I mean, it could almost be suggested to be mandatory that every young person in Australia, white Australia if you like, goes out bush and learn something about the true heritage of the country and understand something about the true people of the country, the people who were essentially well, if you like, the people laying the foundation for what this land is. And it's just a shame that we've come in as a race, white Australia, and at times chipped away at that foundation. You know, it'd be lovely to see us reform it together.
Excellent advice. I have actually a very important question that I want to know about, and I think a lot of people can benefit from this. So we have a lot of young, talented sports athletes in Australia, whether it's in tennis, cricket, AFL. Unfortunately, many of them get influenced or can get influenced by drugs and alcohol, or maybe they hang around the wrong people. What are some key words of advice you can give so these people stay on the right track? And if they do go off track, they come back onto the right track?
Look, it's a wonderful question in the sense that it lays a table to which I can make some suggestions, but anyone watching this from any angle really probably almost has to scroll back to the start to where we spoke about, or you in fact spoke about, the matrix and going through a door. So I need to be really clear about that now. What I'm about to say is a case of you're going to have to make a decision which door you want to walk through. And the funny thing is, Imran, I used to really hold on to and become very personal about moments and advice and suggestion and how will Imran or Bob or Mary be able to move forward using my words. I'm not interested anymore. I am completely non-prescriptive. So whatever I share as I'm about to now is the result of my understandings and how I see the world around me. How the viewer or anyone else takes in that information is completely up to them.